today's job, I'm updating COI data for Lepidoptera. This is a new project, so the next generation synthesis phylogeny of Lepidoptera, which we use a lot at the BEF China tree diversity experiment. So I'm downloading COI from Bold, pull out the COI 5 prime, and sometimes a few other things in there. Limit this to sequences with full binomials, process the ID to something a bit simpler, pull out the gaps if present, species filter, and so here's a module for finding mislabeled sequences. Now, I added this module in my third major iteration of the insect phylogeny, and when you run this on Bold, there's really remarkably few mislabeled sequences in there. So for all of insects, out of well over 1 million sequences, I think there's about 150, which is a very low error rate. But still, it's good to identify and remove these if possible, because they can cause propagated issues. So it's two situations. If you have a COI sequence which has a wrong taxonomic name on there and it's constrained, the sequence is very dissimilar to those around it because of this, and this will cause some issues. It will pull in those sequences which are similar in sequence, which are unconstrained. So and as they will have a different taxonomy, you get this effect. And similarly, if the mislabeled sequences are not constrained, they will just go into they will go according to their sequence similar their relatives, and you'll get a similar taxonomic mess. So I've just done this for a new Lepidoptera COI download. So I do this there's various ways you might do this. I know there's a phylogenetic method for finding mislabeled stuff, which is not really at this range. It's not really practical to do that. What I use is Motor, which is pretty nice command line software for taxonomic identification, and I just simply identify each COI in a dataset against a similar kind of insect-wide data matrix, and then I do effectively molecular identification, and if there's a big mismatch in name, and then that's a putative mislabeled sequence. So these are all Lepidoptera delineated at the species level. So about 50,000 species. I don't know if this will be the final value. Using the wget for the Bold API is quite uncertain. You need to do this several times it will often cut out depending on your geographical location. So I'm not sure that's the final value. But so I've transferred this module, misidentification module, from the third iteration of the insect tree of life to the current project, which is a Lepidoptera specific synthesis tree. So we run Motor, classify sex command of Motor. These are all the Lepidoptera COIs, and we need two files, taxonomy and reference. These I've copied from the So these are throughout insects, but you don't necessarily want all insect species. You can use a reduced complexity version of an insect-wide dataset, which I have produced previously. So I just copied this in, and that's the main input file for Motor, and then it will give you an output, which looks something like this. So you have so this will be the query. In this case, we're using Lepidopter, and you'll get a taxonomic identification, which Motor has produced for different ranks and some kind of probability for each of these. And the script just looks for major mismatches. Let's quickly look through this. So you get the specimen, which should be Lepidoptera, and it gets from this the complete lineage from an independent way, which is the taxon table produced for that species from NCBI and ITIS, and was producing these. Then it checks the name assigned to the Lepidoptera query against the molecular identification according to the sequence, and so you get then it looks for this mismatch here. If molecular assigned species order is the same as which order that belongs to, then that's a putative mislabeling. So you can see we have 31 potential mislabeled. So quick look over these. Now immediately this has Alcides according to NCBI taxonomic hierarchy. That's a beetle, but it was obtained from a Lepidoptera download of bold and assigned by sequence according to Lepidoptera. So this is a taxonomic complexity. It turns out this name has been used twice, so that's what's caused this problem here. Alcides being a lep, also the name of a weevil on NCBI. So this is a few instances of this in the insects, and these can cause various headaches. So I'll probably just remove this. For other cases, we have bold COI labeled with a genus name, which is a moth, but according to the sequence, is similar in sequence to Sarcopter. What's this? I forgot what these are. Some kind of parasitic insect. So this is possibly mislabeled sequence. So let's check this. So the sequence from this Lepidoptera is identical to this species here. So this species is a bark lice, apparently. I don't know anything about these. So we have a Lepidoptera sequence identical to a bark louse sequence. Now, in this case, it doesn't seem to be a taxonomic problematic. Doesn't appear to be a problematic taxonomic issue. So this will be a putative mislabeling. So that would need to be removed now. So we only have 31, which is very, very few considering how many. So in this case we have 50,000 LEP COI and 31, and a lot of these are just cases of shared names. So we have this LEP also appears to be a diptera name. This one, Mantodia, another fly, another name shared with flies, wasp, another wasp. So after doing this, I think we'll just remove these small number of sequences and then proceed with that. So what I'll do, we have the taxon table script which builds a taxonomic system, but also does this name mismatching check between the molecular assigned taxon and the label of the sequence, and it produces the output called putative mislabeled, which I guess is just a list. Just check this. Yep, so it's just a list of those 31 species, and we can just remove these. So you use the remove faster entry script, which takes any kind of list. We just need to write the file names in here, which is this species filtered COI from bold for Lepidoptera, and the output file with the suffix mislabeled removed. Removed for 31 from file. Okay. So that's job done. We have I recommend, this is a necessary module for, particularly if you're using COI for phylogenetics, because you get these propagated issues which they can stick out like a sore thumb in your resulting phylogeny if you don't have these taxonomic issues fixed. And okay, job done. Till next time.